How's everybody doing today? It's Woe with Signs Entertainment, and it's good to be back, y'all, man. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've conversed, since we've talked about astrology, about sun signs, compatibility, all of it. Well, today, here's another video about compatibility. Today, we're going to talk about two of the most interesting signs on the internet, probably in the world too, right? But we're just going to focus on the internet right now. Scorpio, which happens to be the most searched sign ever. And then Gemini, maybe the most questioned sign ever. Why? Who knows? Anyway, so welcome to, of course, this is a sun sign compatibility video. You can kind of correlate it to moon signs and maybe rising to rising, Venus to Venus, etc. But we're going to focus on sun signs because we're talking about like just general astrology here. Once again, compatibility video, Scorpio and Gemini. Firstly, I just want to let y'all know that in my personal opinion, it doesn't matter what your sign is. Anyone can find love. Anyone can find harmony and peace and balance with another individual. It just depends on one, what you're willing to put up with, what you're willing to give yourself, and how bad do you really want it. Of course, there are more difficulties or more, bonuses, more similarities, more, etc. It just depends on some of these things, and that's kind of what we're hitting on today, because really anything could work. It just depends on the individuals, right? Because there's so many things going on in our chart that this is just one. If there was a whole pizza or pie and there's 8 slices, this is just one slice of it. It's a huge slice, and it's maybe like the center of it, right? The biggest one, the most cheesiest, but it is only one piece of it because there's so many things going on in our charts that, this is delicate information. But use wisely, you feel me? So anyway, let's talk about the elements, right? Scorpio is a water sign. There are 4 elements: water, air, earth, and fire. And if you're not familiar with them, we'll talk about that a lot more on the channel. But water signs, yes, they are. Scorpio is one of the water signs. And Scorpio is also a fixed sign. Fixed is a type of modality within astrology. You can have fixed, cardinal, and mutable signs. So there are 4 elements with 3 zodiac signs in each of the 4 elements, and each sign has its own modality, essentially. So, water signs, if you're not familiar, water signs are, people like to describe as more of the emotional element. They're more in tune with their emotions. They're more expressive with their emotions. They're more accepting of their emotions. They're more deliberate with their emotions. Essentially, they're just matters of the heart, kind of our priority as far as like how they live their life, essentially. And in my personal belief is that's good and that's bad. Everything is. There's balance to everything. There's no one thing that's right and the other one is wrong. It's about like coexistence, honestly, right? So this is already the most, the most emotional sign, emotional element, right, out of the whole zodiac. And then you have it fixed, meaning that fixed signs are signs that are pretty steady to their beliefs, opinions, values, and they hold strong to it. It's hard for them to shift. And, whatever they believe and set forth as the principle in their life, they kind of act on that and really do it to sometimes to unnecessary extent, sometimes to a necessary extent, right? So you have a fixed water sign. So someone who is emotional, but someone who is strong in their emotions and believes their heart and kind of goes at it head fast, right? And so that's one. And then you have the Gemini, which is almost the opposite, if I must say, of everything I just described with the Scorpio. Somewhat, right? Anyway, but Geminis are of the air element, and not only are they of the air element, they are a mutable sign, and that's their modality. So, right? So you have someone who is air, which the air signs are known to be very logical, very analytical. Like where let's say the water signs expresses things, matters of the heart, the air signs expresses matters of the mind. They thought about it, they reasoned with it, and they feel like this is the most important decision based off of these logics, based off of this logic, excuse me, where the water sign is kind of basing off of their emotions, how they feel, while the air sign will think about how they feel, analyze it, and kind of make a decision based off of that. Sometimes quickly, sometimes, they don't even got to go that deep, honestly. But and then you have a mutable sign, right? The mutable signs, almost like the opposite of fixed signs. Instead of being so like steadfast, consistent in opinion and their values and their beliefs, they're more open to it. They're more flexible. They're more adaptable. They're more interchangeable, And some people might look at that as what, being more fake or more flaky, but no, it's really more, sometimes it's more real, because if you're always the same, you kind of can't grow sometimes. But sometimes if you're always changing, you can't grow either. So once again, you see that balance I'm talking about? Everything is balance, right? And that's for individuals, that's for collectives, partnerships, relationships, etc., right? So that's the one thing that we have to realize, that like in order for anything right to be successful, we have to make sure it's successful internally ourselves first, right? But anyway, so Geminis, they kind of get the little, people say that they're really wishy-washy, that that they don't like stick to something. They kind of here and there, but like, there's truth and there's falsehood to that as well, because Geminis, they act truthfully. They go with what they feel, but sometimes they may question it more. And sometimes questions are necessary, because with the most questions, right, you find out the most answers. That's why Geminis are kind of witty and kind of like really knowledgeable a lot of times, because when you're curious about a lot of things, you kind of want to find out the answers to these things. So your quest in life is that mental stimulation. Your quest in life is learning, feeling, growing, changing, evolving, and that's on multiple levels. Sometimes even beyond your own, like, sometimes personal control, maybe. So Gemini, let me know. But anyway, but seriously, like, and that's what y'all need in life. So it's not about the fact that like y'all are wishy-washy or can't hold to something, but if you're constantly needing to be stimulated and needing that change, needing that excitement, it's hard for one thing to give that to you. So it's a really big decision to choose one thing, right? And looking at it like that way, it makes sense. And it's not a negative thing, because that's really what it is. You have individuals who maybe, take that and run with it maybe in the wrong direction. But that's up to the individual. That's nothing to do with being a Gemini, because sometimes people might stick to something that they shouldn't for too long, while Gemini don't really have that problems. They need to maybe stick to something a little too longer. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that's the beauty of it though, right? So you have two signs, right, who essentially are different, because Scorpios in nature, Scorpios essentially want a situation in which like it's all consuming, it's overwhelming essentially. Like Scorpios are all or nothing very much type of sign. Like, they are, if they are fixated on something, they almost have to have it, and they will have it, and they want it how they want it. They may not let it know exactly what itself the Scorpio has going on, but the Scorpio wants that information, wants that knowledge, wants that, wants that understanding about their prey. Nah, just about their interest, really whatever they have going on. Scorpios are more like, they want to take in as much as they can get without giving as much as they can. Where in a sense, Geminis do that too, but not like as premeditatedly. Geminis is really more on the whim. I mean, Geminis can be conniving because they're intellectual, very logical. They probably, have thought about a situation, maybe even thought about how they can get what they want. But, in the essence of it, they could lose themselves, because it's more just out of like the stimulation. And it's not necessarily extremely selfish, but it's more about like, it's like, think about a kid who just doesn't want to be bored, right? Like, That kid is going to do anything. As soon as you stop it, it's going to look at the bug, the ant that's crawling. As soon as you stop that, it's going to look at the fly that just flew by. And the kid just has to be stimulated. That's kind of like a Gemini's life, essentially. Like, of course, depending on their chart, if they have more earth in there or whatnot, then it may not be as severe. But essentially, that's what's going on. And a Scorpio wants to know everything. And a Scorpio kind of wants to be in control and have some say because, like, once you become part of the Scorpion, you there. That's what the Scorpio expects, needs, wants. Sometimes has to realize that people can't be your victims. You know what I'm saying? Your love slave. But and the Gemini is not. The Gemini might even lie to you and tell you, yes, I'm your love slave, and be serving two different people. Like. A Gemini is about, is just not on that type of time. So for the most part, right? But then opposites do attract too. So a Gemini might want that or need that, somebody to calm it down, like, yo, put that saddle on, chill out, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't work. Most of the time it don't work, like, for real. But, like, that's the beauty in it. Because of other factors in their chart, you never really know, you never really know what a person might get. So it's hard to even say that a Scorpio and Gemini can't or cannot get together. Because there's a lot of Scorpio Gemini couples I'm sure are very successful. And there's probably a lot that's not. But then again, that's for every sign because once again, we live in a world where honestly people are going to do what they're going to do. And ultimately, astrology is just the capability of us knowing what we're prone to and what we're not. So we can kind of maybe put it get a head start on what we need to do with our behaviors, with our actions, with our reactions, with our thoughts, but it's essentially it's not God. It's not the overwhelming final. So you decide your fate. But all seriousness though, yeah. So, but back to them real quick, right? And like, let's say depending on other the major factors in the chart, because when it comes to romance, especially like Venus is really important because the Venus is how you are in relationships. For a female, it's how you attract men, and for a man, is like the type of females you're attracted to. And also, let's say your Mercury. Your Mercury is how you communicate and how you process thoughts. So that's very important because let's say you have air in your Mercury, and you kind of like. You think like a Gemini, maybe. Let's say it's in Gemini. You think like a Gemini, or that's how you express yourself, rather. Then that's definitely more of a situation in which you might bond there. But it really depends on the individuals, and like I said, like not only what they already have with them, what they're willing to do for each other. Because in any situation, you're going to have to compromise because not one sign is better than the next, or vice versa. You know what I mean? And so Scorpios are very mysterious because, like I said, they won't give you too much information on themselves, but they'll want to know everything about you, and they have a good way of getting that out of you. They kind of have this mysticism to them, you know what I mean? And they have this thing where like the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, like, get over here. If they get a hold on you, it's hard to kind of let go because it's intense, you know what I mean? If some people are afraid of it, and some people kind of like look forward to their fears, and some people are kind of like, who you trying to threaten? Like, but I'm interested, because Scorpios are like, they're somewhat demanding and emotionally manipulative. They know how to take a person's emotions and kind of get what they want out of it, and if they can't, then they dip, right? So Scorpios, they're going to be deep, they're going to be intense, and they're going to be maybe even dramatic at times, but it's also going to be very passionate. And if you need that, want that, feel that, desire that, let it burn. Gotta let it burn, because it's going to burn. Something going to burn, you know what I mean? Because a Scorpio there is going to be some intensity with it, because these people, and when I say these people, by no means am I like speaking negative, because there's beauty in everything, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about these people specifically as far as Scorpios. These people, they want what they want, right? And they are going to try to get what they want through whichever medium they need to be, essentially. So they can be sneaky, you know what I'm saying? But essentially, like, you're going to know them because they're not going to be able to really like hide their feelings. I think like a Scorpio, right, in a positive setting, is a very interesting person, because this is someone who knows how to like deal with more emotions than anybody. They could take on a lot of other people's emotions and pain and make them feel better about it while harboring it themselves and maybe not even sharing their own pain. This is a vault. This is somebody who can take on a lot, you know, and deal with it, and then also help you get out of your pain, your struggle, your growth. Because these people, when they are your friends or are close with you, they also give you their all. Just like they want your all, they give you their all. They'll do anything for you. I mean, these are the type of people, like, they'll do anything for you. They may be getting what they want out of it somehow, right? But like, they'll also provide that. They'll also, like, you know what I mean? And with them, it's going to be drama just because they're intense people. So they're going to take things maybe they're not up for them in a certain way. They're going to take it negatively maybe or something like that. But like I said, a positive Scorpio will understand that that's not the case. They're going to just bottle that, channel that energy, and kind of deliver it in a positive manner to the people around them, the people that they surround themselves with. So this is a very interesting, very emotionally sound person. A person that's a Scorpio that's not so strong in their own right now is someone who is kind of just causing drama all over town, like doing what they do, not telling nobody, being wild, being secretive, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, that could be a kind of detrimental person because they're going to just cause drama in everyone else's life for no reason, you know. And so it really depends on, you know, the individual. Once again, if that's you right now, get it together because, you know, you could really, Scorpios can help change the world because these people can, like I said, take in a lot and give out, you know, the opposite. Take in the negative and give out the positive. That's a powerful being, you know, if you harness that energy. And the people around you, if you know, if they can trust you with their personal information, but then still feel like you got them, like, you know what I mean? That's a strong character, which is why you build these strong relationships that you shouldn't manipulate and take advantage of and then cause drama within, but help maybe more to encourage and more to, you know, provide love, you know what I'm saying? And Geminis, right? Geminis, okay, I know I was being whatever earlier, but y'all do question everything, you know? But it's cool because sometimes you need to question. Y'all do have this want for stimulation, this want for you know, for a mental excitement. You have this appetite for the newest of things, the coolest of things, what's going on, or whatever you like, honestly. But sometimes, like, it can't happen, right? And that's cool. Like, you know, we should be okay with that. We're grown, you know, and honestly, like, sometimes we don't know, but some things you just will never know, so you can't just keep going. You gotta like sometimes it's good to stick with stuff. But a Gemini, right? Like, if you look at like maybe like artists, or if you look at the popular, like, Geminis are going to be one of the more zodiac signs that you see because they're very adaptable and they're very interesting. These people are very knowledgeable and are very socially inclined. So these people, when they feel something, they do it. They don't think too hard about it. They just kind of go. That's also that part of that mutable modality is that's a mutable modality aspect. You know, it's like not aspect as far as like zodiac aspect. I'm just saying like that's part of who they are. If you feel me. So like Geminis, they're very free-going people. That's air signs in general, right? So they're kind of going to go with it, and they are going to be more like, you know, socially acceptable because they know how to be in these different environments, and they enjoy it. They enjoy dealing with different people and talking about different people, doing a song and then doing a verse here and then doing that. It's like, I mean, what's more stimulating than that, right? The amount of people you meet, the amount of audiences that you get to perform in front of, you know. So essentially these people are very creative people and people who know what to do in social environments, you know, and they can be very successful. And the thing about air signs kind of, and then maybe Geminis, they may not chase the money. They're just chasing that answer, chasing that stimulation. So a lot of times in life, when you aren't necessarily chasing something, but you're like putting in maybe some type of work or effort or at least an understanding in it, you usually get blessed with it, you know? And so that's kind of what happens with Geminis too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people they deal with, their intimate relationships might be tough because they may never be sure or affirming, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a thrill. You You know what I'm saying? Especially with these two. So you have someone who, that's anyways, let me finish with the Gemini real quick. So that's a Gemini thriving, understanding social environments, understanding that the knowledge they have can be power and using that to their advantage. You know what I'm saying? And not taking advantage of people in the process, but also just spreading love and excitement in the air, because Geminis, that's what y'all could do. Y'all bring a good time and y'all are very diverse and versatile. So, keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? But a Gemini who's really not is a Gemini who's could be kind of insecure and causing problems, because once again, you're not confirming anything. You're just leaving a bunch of questions everywhere, questions in people's hearts, questions in your mama's house, questions everywhere. Like the Riddler. Stop playing. You know what I mean? Stop playing. Pick something. But all seriousness though, really it's on you though. But if you do decide to, your life's probably gonna be easier, and then you won't think that people are out to get you or against you or feel, whatever you want to feel, because, y'all can get in your own heads. Gemini is similar to Virgos. Virgos are earth sign though. Geminis are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is a planet of rapidness. You know what I mean? It's a planet of kind of being analytical and kind of having everything like listed and gotta go, and gotta get done type situation. So, calm down, like sometimes. But if you don't want to, cool. Just find someone who can deal with that, And a Scorpio may be able to, like, it depends. If this Scorpio got a lot of earth and water in their chart, you may be too much, for them. But the Gemini, if the Gemini got like a lot of water in you, that's an interesting situation, because both of these people know how to get what they want out of situations. Scorpios are more emotionally manipulative, where Geminis are more like socially adaptable, right? So they know how to finesse like the chameleon of the industry. You know what I'm saying? Where the Scorpio is more like, I don't know, they could be that. I mean, they may be that. They may be there like, I don't know, like spiritual leader. I mean, that could kind of be Pisces too, but or more any sign really. But like a Scorpio is more like convincing whoever's in their circle, whatever circle that is, that they're needed and that they need them, and that it's probably gonna be a good time if you feel them, if that's your friend, if that's your partner. But you're gonna go through a lot of emotions, and sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it might be a lot, right? So, and depending on these people's career paths, because more importantly than I said before, like the individuals make it matter, make it happen. And it's really important if these individuals are like on the same path in life, because if you're not, it's going to be very hard. Like anything is possible, but it's going to be very difficult. But if you're on the same path, like let's say you're in the similar career fields, you know what I mean? Like let's say a Scorpio, right, is a licensed therapist, psychologist, or hey, you may have a shop. Let's say you own a business in which you're the CEO or something like that, and that Gemini maybe is, I don't know, a social influencer, and you somehow can benefit from their services. That's a great relationship, because Scorpio loves to help. It loves to provide that emotional support, where if a Gemini receives it but still can kind of be like, stimulated, let's say that Scorpio enjoys travel though, or enjoys maybe the field of influence that social media influencer is in. Let's say it's fashion, and then they get to go to fashion shows with them, and they have like an emotional support system with them going on these fashion shows, and they both successful in their careers. I mean, why not? Let's get it popping. Let's do it. That can be very beneficial. So, that's definitely going to aid to it too, right? And let's just say, then you have normal life stuff, that they have other interests, that they both can kind of share. Or, that's going to be very beneficial for them too. And it's going to be very helpful. So it really matters on the individuals, right? And like I would say for a Scorpio, if you have a Gemini you're interested in, or you're interested in the Gemini, then on the real, like, they are going to question a lot of things, and you don't like things to be questioned. You like to know that person is your 100%, your rock, your stone. But like, if they're there, right? then they probably want to be there. At least there's an interest for them to be there, because if they're not, they can get ghosted, they can get gone quick too. I mean, a Gemini might not be there, but not really be there. But if they're there with you most of the time, giving you time and like taking you with them on their whatever type journeys, then that means something. So like, although you may not feel what you give out, because honestly, no one can give out what you could give out. Maybe another Scorpio, or unless this Gemini has a Scorpio Venus or something. But like, you know what I'm saying? But if they're there and they're holding you down, and they're like, they're not hiding stuff from you or people from you, you got something good. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that Gemini that means that you're enough to stimulate them, and that's not easy, right? To give someone most of your time, and and you're stimulating them, that's a good thing. So like, just keep that going, right? And for the Gemini, your Scorpio is hardcore. They're intense. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You got to accept that about them. And sometimes, like, I don't know, it might scare you. Sometimes, hey, you might like it. Sometimes it might hold you down, give you some type of accountability or something like that. Or you need some type of decisive force or presence in your life. So it might be beneficial. I mean, but also communicate, because Geminis are huge on communication. They're big on communicating. And a Scorpio may not communicating everything except their emotions. So Scorpio, work on communicating other things outside of your emotions. And then Gemini, like, you know what I'm saying? Understand that everybody doesn't communicate the same. We do not all communicate equally, clearly, right? So that's important, and you guys got to really understand each other. I mean, that's anybody. But you two specifically, because y'all coming from different places in life, where the Scorpio is, regardless if they say it or not, is looking for that lifelong partner, that plug, somebody who, their other half, essentially. Where a Gemini is, you're, like I said, mental stimulation kind of rules your world, where like, you just, you can't control yourself. It's like having OCD all the time, for people who think OCD is a thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's a bad thing or they're diagnosed with something. I'm just saying. So, really, you have to truthfully find beauty in who the person is, or your partner is, and then it's going to be effective, But yeah, so, I think those are going to be, I think that's enough to say right now about the Gemini and the Scorpio, honestly. Let me think, is there anything else I did not hit on? Yeah, so man, thank y'all for tuning in. That was Scorpio and Gemini. If you got any thoughts or something, like, drop them in the comments. I know I've been responsive in the past, but I'm back, y'all. So check me out, holla at me. It sounds entertainment. We coming with a lot more compatibility videos coming soon. Peace. Y'all have a good day.